Alright, YouTube, everybody in the world, this is the angel of light. This information I give you is going to be the angel of light in Revelations 18:1 and 2. It is knowledge. It's the key of knowledge that Jesus talked about in Luke 11:52. Woe unto you lawyers, for you have hid the key of knowledge, and those that were entering you hindered, and you entered not in yourselves. I'm going to explain to you what Babylon is. Mystery Babylon in the last days. This information is going to take the banks and corporations, this entire system of fraud, down. It's going to take this system down. Fallen is Babylon. I'm going to explain to you exactly what Babylon is. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be glad to answer. So here is how I'm going to explain it. Okay. I hope this isn't hard to understand and hard to read. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. Okay, our country was founded. We had the Constitution. So here's what's going on in our country. We have the Constitution. Then we have the legal system. They're separate. What brings these two together is images. Deuteronomy 7:25 says, "The images of their idols shall you burn with fire." So this is the birth certificate. It created a legal fiction, which is your name. It's an image in capital letters on your Social Security card, which is a fraud, because they offer you social insurance, but in actuality they're taking your rights and property. Okay. Under the Constitution, number one, it's the law of the land. The legal language, the law of the sea, or commerce, which also means sexual intercourse. Look it up in a college dictionary. And if you go back to the English dictionary in 1768, it says hooker. So I don't know, you figure that out. 2. Government of the government was of the people, according to the Constitution. According to the legal language, the people are of the country, which is a corporation owned by international bankers called the United States. 14th Amendment says, any person born or naturalized or under the jurisdiction thereof is or subject to the jurisdiction thereof is citizens of the United States. 3. Gold and silver is the money system. Over here, fiat currency, or idols of Babylon. The images, birth certificate, social security card, are what give the idols value, because you are in agreement with this land of illusion. Babylon, gateway to the gods. That's a god, because this country trusts in that to sustain themselves, and they do it at the expense of their children. Ezekiel 23:37 says that Israel committed fornication, committed adultery, blood is on their hands, committed adultery with their idols. Read it, Ezekiel 23:37. So we sacrificed our kids to the debt, because idols is debt. The reason why idols are debt is because money is debt, because every dollar came from the Federal Reserve Bank. It is borrowed and needs to be paid back with interest. 4. Under the Constitution, we're the king or sovereign. John Jay in 1793 said, "At the Revolution, sovereignty devolved on the people, and they are truly the sovereigns of the country, with no one to govern them but themselves." Over here, in the legal language, you're a slave. You're a Babylonian slave. Jeremiah 2:14. Is Israel a slave? Is he a homeborn slave? 5. The kingdom of heaven. Because this environment here is the kingdom of heaven. It's an environment for the kingdom of heaven where you govern yourself, you serve the Lord with no obstruction from government. 5. Babylon. So you go from the kingdom of heaven to Babylon, land of images, or gateway to the gods. 6. Under the Constitution, we are America, or we're Americans. United States of America. You know, you could get into a lot of details on what we were called at the beginning of the founding of our country. Over here, it's called United States, which is a corporation. Can't remember the code. In the United States Code defines United States as a corporation. 1871 is when we became a corporation. 7. We have rights, or God-given rights, or it's your birthright. Over here, you have privileges. You've given up your birthright because they say that you get social insurance or a full tummy. You get benefits with your Social Security card. You know, you get privilege to drive. You get all kinds of great benefits. Oh, wonderful. Yay, we get benefits. And we get rights defined by Babylon. And you have to pay for those privileges. Yeah, what a privilege, huh? Over here, English, number 8, is under the Constitution. We speak English. Over here, it's legalese. I believe it could be the false prophet spoken of in the Bible. Okay, now, what gives this power and authority? It's simple. The birth certificate and Social Security card. There's no law that says you have to fill out a birth certificate for your child. I have talked to many people in Vital Statistics in Denver. There's no law that says you have to fill a birth certificate out for your child. The law simply says a certificate of birth for every live birth which occurs in this state must be filed with the state registrar. It's saying that a certificate must be filed, but it doesn't say you have to fill it out because it's a contract. It's commerce. Sexual intercourse with Babylon. And you don't have to have a Social Security card. There's no law that says you have to have one. These are images. The Constitution says you have a right to contract. Just like God, he says, hey, you got a choice. You could serve me or you could serve Mammon. So this here is a false religion. Idols and images. You want to talk about the people are of the country. The old word for paganism is countrymen or of a country. You know, if you think in terms of Bible language, that was the key to understanding what a pagan was, is that they had images and idols, and they were of the country. In other words, they were slaves, a system of slavery, and God didn't want us to do that. He wanted us to be our own king, to be sovereign, to govern ourselves. It's anarchy. I mean, I don't know what anarchy is, but we should govern ourselves. And when you have a nation full of people that govern themselves, you have good things. But when you have people that can't govern themselves, like I've been saying, a nation that cannot govern themselves allows themselves to be governed. Now, these are images. Happened in 1933 at the bankruptcy, when we ended in bankruptcy to the Federal Reserve, which is Mystery Babylon. Deuteronomy 28:43 says, "The stranger which is in your midst will rise high above you. He will lend to you. You will not lend to him." This curse, the stranger, Isaiah 24 says, "I will lay waste the earth, for the earth and its inhabitants have forsaken the everlasting covenant." And then Habakkuk 1:5-6 says, "Behold you among the heathen," which is a fallen nation, or nation, heathen, fallen, of course, you got to be fallen to be a heathen. He said, "Behold you among the nations, for I will do a work in your days that you will not believe, even if it were told you. I'm raising up the Babylonians." This is Babylon over here. So these bankers that create money, and we give it power through the birth certificate and social security card, control the legal language. And it's sorcery. Revelations 18:23 says, "By her sorceries were the nations deceived." You were deceived into giving up your rights and property for a full stomach, because you were offered, oh, well, you get benefits and privileges. You get to work and you get to feed your family. Oh, yay. And then with bankruptcy is void, because, of course, you don't have enough. There's emptiness, darkness. There's lacking, wanting. It kind of goes along with that, the hand that wrote on the wall when the king of Babylon was overtaken by the Medes, which the Medes did not regard gold or silver. They did not delight. It's the beast. Revelation, or Isaiah 46:1-7. Bel bows down, Nebo stoops low. Their idols are upon the beast, and they are weary from the heavy load. Some lavish gold out of the bag. They hire a goldsmith, which is Babylon, which controls this legal language and has power through images, to make it, their gold and silver, into a god. Isaiah 46:6. Yea, they bow down their worship. And then it says, they carry him upon their shoulders. And Revelation 17:7 says, "I will show you the mystery of the woman," which is Babylon, "and the beast," which are people who despise gold and silver, "that carries her." Revelation 17:7. Okay, this is commerce right here. You're signing a contract, you're entering into commerce. You're entering into sexual intercourse because you're lacking and you're wanting. And the reason why God's people didn't know about this is because it's a curse to a nation that's a stranger, and it's Mystery Babylon. And God says in Isaiah 29, 9-11, God said He closed the eyes of the seers, the prophets, and the rulers, and this vision will be to you sealed. Then Daniel 12:4 says, "Seal up the words of this prophecy till the time of the end. Knowledge will be abundant. People will run to and fro," which is commerce. You know, do a complete study on that word commerce. It means, I can't remember how I got to that point, but it was in a law dictionary. I have a Black's Law 3rd edition, and it said something about to and fro. I can't remember exactly what it said. But if you ask me questions on the video, I will look it up and show you again. Okay, Ecclesiastes 7:29. God made man upright. And remember, God had His people inquire the Egyptians of their gold. And I like to say inquire because borrowing is a curse. And you know, it's possible to borrow, but I'm going to guess that the accurate word that should be used in the King James Version if you go to the Strong's Concordance, the proper word should be inquire, to beg, to borrow, to, you know, get the gold. Because then he's going to send you into the desert and make a great nation out of you. But what happened? God's people lavished gold out of the bag. They hired a goldsmith in Isaiah 46, 1 through 7. They marched around the mountain quite a few years. Never did enter the promised land. Ecclesiastes 7:29, God made man upright, but they followed many inventions. This is an invention. It's a man-made, created. This is man-made. It's many inventions. This is an invention. It's an illusion. It's a game. This is nothing but a big game, and it's a fraud. Because did they teach you what these were in school? No, they did not teach you the 1933 bankruptcy. They didn't teach you anything about these other than you get benefits and privileges. So this is Mystery Babylon over here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.